So yeah, hopefully you are able to see my screen now, right? So yeah. So hi, my name is Pranav, and like currently, like I work for Oracle as an SD3, and recently only like I had switched, and prior to working with Oracle, I have been working with Microsoft as an SD2 for more than 2 years. And prior to joining Microsoft, I was working again with Oracle. So right now, also like I was rehired by Oracle, and prior to that, I was working with PayPal as well as an SD2. So yeah, and in total, I have around 5 years of experience in the industry so far. And yeah, I'm very glad to take the session regarding Microsoft full stack interview preparation for backend and frontend. So before moving to that, a small introduction about me. So I am also a Coding Ninjas alumni, and I joined Coding Ninjas around 2016. So at that time, Coding Ninjas used to have like classes, or they used to conduct session in person. So they had a campus in Delhi where these sessions would be taken, and I was very fortunate that these sessions were taken by like the founding members like Nidhi Agarwal ma'am and Ankush sir. So we were under the direct mentorship from them, under them. And to be honest, like I was in the beginning of my career, I was kind of clueless because like I was not pretty sure that would like I would be making a career in engineering or software development or computer science engineering, because I did not have a computer science background, right? I was kind of a bio student all throughout. So and computer science kind of happened, you can say that, as the last resort for me, right? So that is the thing. And the other thing that I want to say here is that, so it's very important that like you have the right mentorship, right? And right you can say that right guidance at the right amount of time. It's very necessary, because I remember that when I was in my first year, I kind of did nothing except for preparation for my medical exams. And after passing of my like you can say that third semester, that is second year's first like semester, that starting semester, I was also clueless. I was kind of under the impression that yeah, so what to do and what not to do. So I interacted with a lot of folks, a lot of my kind of peers that were there, and they gave different opinions. So there and all, where I decided that I need to take, because I was not familiar with programming at all. So there and all, I decided that yeah, I should kind of take a course. And that time, Coding Ninjas was kind of the leading like you can say that brand that was kind of offering the right course at the right time. That is where like kind of became a like a student of in Coding Ninjas. And I was very fortunate that it happened at the right time, because had it happened in my third year or fourth year, I would be kind of in a very I wouldn't be not at a place where I'm here, right? So that is the thing. So right things should happen at the right time. And that is where before we move on ahead with the session, so there is lot to cover in this session. So in this session, we will talk about the like how to prepare for Microsoft interviews. What are the different rounds that you will be having? What are the different kind of expectations that are there? Because I myself have been part of the interview panel for Microsoft, as well as for PayPal, as well as for Oracle as well. So I have taken around, in the past 2 years, I have taken more than 1,000 interviews, right? And it would be more than that, to be honest. You will not find it very realistic, but it's the reality. So the thing is that we have been kind of taking interviews here and there, and for different organizations. So yeah, so as an interviewer, I will also tell you the expectations that are there. And the other thing is that we will also come across the different things or the different items that we can prepare to crack these companies. And I will not limit it to only Microsoft. Microsoft is a very good company, is a very well after sought after company and very popular company for kind of the students that are there. But we will also talk about the different companies that are in the gamut of companies that are comprising, right? So this like there would be some companies like Amazon or Meta or other companies, right? So we'll be generic, be generic in this process. Okay, but before we move on, let me ask you this, right? So how much time are you willing to spend figuring things out on your own, right? So in today's competitive job market, so the fastest way to transition into new role is the right guidance and a clear roadmap, right? So I remember when I was kind of studying, so I was kind of lost, right? I used to take guidance from my seniors. So they gave different opinions. Some said that backend would be the future, some said Android would be the future, some said iOS is the future, some said machine learning will be the future, some said that do data analysis you will get a job. So there were different opinions and you are kind of lost because everything is appealing to you, right? So that is where like to transition into a new role that you are aspiring, you have to have a right guidance and a clear roadmap, because the job market right now is very it's extremely competitive, right? I'll just give you an example. So when we were taking interviews 2 years back, we used to ask two questions that needs to be solved in or one question or two question that needs to be solved in you can say 60 minutes or maximum 70 minutes we will give. Nowadays students are solving these two questions in 30 minutes, some in 20 minutes as well. So that solving kind of like the time to attempt the question for a student has gone drastically down, right? That means that you are getting less chances to eliminate. So that is the thing, that is the reality. So this is where like people are getting aware and the job market is getting more competitive day by day, right? So that's where programs like Coding Ninjas comes in with 9 months of job boot camp, and they don't teach you the skills, but they also prepare you to apply them confidently in the real world, right? So being a mentor and an alumni of Coding Ninjas, I can personally attest to their services and content. I have seen students personally, I have mentored students, like I have mentored around some 1000 students in the past, where they are able to achieve 200 to 250% hike, right? And their results can be also shown in the website as well. We'll be also discussing that in a short span. But being a mentor and alumni of Coding Ninjas, I can personally attest to their services. I have seen students with expert mentorship and structured learnings, and who have transformed their careers in just couple of months, right? So the team will share more details about the job bootcamp, a paid program by Coding Ninjas in like you can say in full stack development, offering in comprehensive program, right, that provides structured learning path along with placement assistance until you land your first job, where you will get to work on real world projects and get to connect with mentors like me, right? And there is more to it. If you feel like checking it out, you can fill the form that will be shared by the team. I will also share it, so you can just access this form here. So I'll just share this form. Okay, so this is the form that you can just fill, right? And you just have to fill your details and the team will be connecting to it to you, right? And there is more to it. If you feel like checking it out, you can fill the form that is shared here, right? And you will receive a call back from the team, and in case you plan to enroll, you might qualify for limited scholarship opportunities that they have to offer, right? So I would request you that if you are interested, fill out the form, right? So that is the thing. Coming to coming to the today's session, right? So the session that we will be discussing about is like how we can prepare about the different types of interview rounds. Before that, let me just explain you the different types of rounds that are there in Microsoft or in any company, right? In any product based company. So you can assume that for a SD1 SD2, right, I will discuss for like SD1 SD2 and SD3, right? So for these profiles there would be approximately 5 to 6 rounds. Okay, there will be approximately 5 to 6 rounds. So we will compromise it in backend and full stack and front end as well, so don't worry about it. So 5 to 6 rounds are there. out of them, the first round that is there is like, it is called as the online assessment round. Okay, so online assessment round is a round where you will be presented with some problems, right? And these would be problems in kind of a story like format, where you have to just deduce what is happening. There will be a story, there will be a structure that is presented in front of you, and you have to deduce what is kind of going on, and then you have to apply your logic. You have to basically solve the problem by using the algorithms and the data structure skills that you have gained, right? So there would be approximately 3 questions, and these 3 questions would be a medium hard level. So the expectation is that you need to solve these 3 questions. You have to solve 3 out of 3 questions. In some cases you will be also asked to solve 2 questions. But the thing is that nowadays, due to the incubation of chat gpt, so more and more people are kind of involved into kind of writing the answers via chat gpt, and they are involved into cheating as well. So they have also kind of developed a mechanism, right? They are also using the llms to just kind of cross verify that the answers that are there are genuine or not, right? To check plagiarism as well as to see the genuineness. So I would totally recommend that if you are kind of if you are attempting an online assessment, so please be genuine, because I have personally seen cases, right? When I'm mentoring my students, I have personally seen cases where cheating cases have occurred, right? So now coming back, so round first is like the online assessment round, and in this round you will be asked what you will be asked 3 questions, right? In case of full stack, because they also have to check the front end skills, so in this case you will be asked a front end question as well. Now this front end question will be kind of testing your design skills in front end, or basically in javascript or react, or like let's say vue, right? Whatever is the profile which you have applied for. So what they tend to do is that they will be sharing a online like you can say editor, right? That is Codility. They use Codility, and other companies are all using HackerRank and other stuff. But what is happening is that they will be kind of sharing a problem that is kind of a full stack problem. You have to write the backend logic, you have to write the front end according to the scenario that is given, and then you need to kind of attempt this. And there would be test cases that you need to pass, right? So I remember that we had kind of set these questions, and there were 200 test cases that we had set to judge that how much a candidate can come close to the expectation that is like set by the interviewer, or the expectation that is set by the team, right? So if you are able to cross 150 test cases, if you are able to satisfy the 150 or 160 or 180 test cases, then you are a good fit. Then you will be considered for the next level of interview. But if you're not able to meet the qualifying criteria, then you will be rejected. So these kind of things are now replacing the first level of interviews. Now the companies are kind of testing your skills first handedly only, right? These rounds are also called as the machine coding rounds. Some companies are holding these rounds in let's say 2 hours or 3 hours also, right? I know the companies like Razorpay, or let's say that Myntra, or Swiggy, and Flipkart. These companies just say that like there will be a machine coding round, and same type of problem statement would be given, where you have to develop a working solution, right? Where you have to develop a web application, or let's say that service. Okay, and you will be hitting the data points, or sorry, apis, and updating the data and performing the business logic according to the requirements that would be shared. Okay, so this is like the round one that is there. Companies are kind of focusing more on round one, because they don't want because interview taking is kind of a very time consuming process. So they don't generally want like candidates who are kind of who would be kind of not aligned with the requirements of the team. That is where mass rejection will be happening in this round one, right? I have seen that many good candidates that I have mentored personally are getting kind of rejected, right? So that is the thing. And what is the major reason behind it? Because the first thing is that a majority of the people would be preparing majorly for the data structure and algorithm skills. Okay, that is the requirement, that is like the necessity that you have to prepare. But along with these things, you also need to prepare for low level design skills as well, which encompass your which comprises of your machine coding rounds. You need to specifically now prepare for machine coding rounds as well, because nowadays big companies, big tech companies, uh, I remember Oracle also kind of had this machine coding round. Microsoft is also having nowadays. Google is not having right now. Meta is not having, and there are some companies that are not having. But the thing is that 90% of the companies are kind of having these. You can say that machine coding rounds, right? And it's very necessary to prepare for them, because I have seen from my friends whom I had referred, right? They got rejected in this first round. So the importance of this round one is very much. Okay. Now coming to the next round of interviews. So after you get through to this first round, okay, so there will be technically there will be two technical rounds. Okay, round two and round three. So depending on your experience, let's say that if you are applying for a SD1 position, so these rounds would be majorly on your DSA and problem solving. Okay, now if you are had in DSN problem solving, so what is the typical structure of the interview is that a 1 hour interview would be there, in which 10 to 15 minutes is kind of given to your introduction. That let's say that I will introduce myself, the interviewer will introduce his himself, and the candidate will introduce himself, and then the interviewer will tell that what type of team he is working on, and what and the like the candidate will explain that what he is kind of doing in his company, what is the role. Then they will be discussing about kind of the past projects if required. If not, then they can also discuss about some let's say that projects in the past or some technically important areas, right? Let's say that we are hiring for a backend .NET developer. So we need to kind of check for skills that are kind of .NET, and let's say that some parts of the MVC kind of structure. Okay, some dependency injections, right? Knowledge in this field as well, right? Some paradigms around .NET, right? So we need to kind of check that if the candidate is aware or not. Being a SD1 only, that is the requirement. If he is aware or not, right? Being a SD1 only, that is the requirement. If he is aware to implement that, right? Then we will be talking about the implementation. We will consider the implementation as well. So we will consider the implementation as well. That let's say that the mentioned profile is for React, right? So we will be asking about React, let's say, right? Then we'll be asking about some basic questions in JavaScript, let's say, or some right? So okay, after this 15 minutes, that major chunk, that is 40 minutes or 45 minutes, is given to your problem solving. Problem solving will be let's say that if you are going for a backend developer, so you will be asking about some basic questions in JavaScript. Let's say that I am going for a backend developer. So nowadays what is happening is that so the interviewer will be asking about so this is very very important, right? So So this is the thing, and you need to be very kind of you need to be you can just see that like what are the offerings that are there in this platform. So here you can just kind of solve the questions that are related to programming fundamentals, data structures, advanced algorithms, and maths and number theory, right? And there would be also kind of most common interview questions that are also asked, right? So what are the interview questions that were asked? What are the companies that are asking these questions? Let's see one sample question. Let's say that maximum subarism, the cadence algorithm, right? So the thing is that what is the expectation now is that the interviewer will just say that yeah, this is your kind of this is the program that you need to complete, and this is the problem, and then you just need to write your code here. And when you will be writing the code, he will just say that run the code, and there will be automatically test cases would be running. And if if you are able to complete all the test cases, that's very good. But if you're not, then you will be simply rejected, right? So these type of questions would be asked, right? And you can see that these are moderate, but in reality moderate to hard questions are asked, right? On medium hard questions are asked in the interviews, right? So we need to prepare accordingly. We need to prepare accordingly in such a way that we are able to solve medium hard questions in 40 minutes or 45 minutes. We need to prepare in a way that two questions in 45 minutes is the minimum requirement that is there, right? And this is kind of the bar that nowadays companies are kind of facing. In Google also, you are faced with 45 minutes interviews where where you are given 45 minutes to attempt like a problem, and there is a follow-up question as well. So you have to reach to a follow-up question. You have to answer that follow-up question as well, and you have to satisfy the interviewer that yeah, this solution that I am presenting, it will be the ideal solution for your case, right? So this is the thing. Apart from this, there are some other offerings that I will just recommend that you should kind of you should kind of explore in this Code Studio or Code 360, right? And you can also see that what are the company wise interview experiences. Okay, so let's say for Amazon, so Amazon asks a lot of trees, graphs, right? They are very much into trees. They have an obsession with trees, so they will just grill you on trees here and there. So you can also see that there are some interview experiences, right, that are also there. So you can just kind of have a experience, have, you can say, a virtual experience that yeah, what was the question that was asked, right? What was the question that was asked to him? And like, see, the thing is that what he's trying to do, binary trees and other things, dp graph and linked list, yeah, but other things are also important, that what is the kind of questions that are asked in these interviews. These are real interviews as well. And you can also see that this is a kind of a interview that has recently happened, right? 31st July. It's not recent, but it's kind of an interview that is you can relate to, right? And I have personally seen that many questions are getting repeated as well. So you will also feel in the similar manner that that when you will be kind of attending any kind of an interview, so you will see that the similar questions would be getting repeated. Why? Because the interview panel that are taking the interview is fixed. Are you like, hopefully everybody is aware that the interview panel would be fixed in a company. They are only getting rotated. And if somebody is getting asked, let's say, a set of questions, there is a high probability that questions would come from that only, right? That is where I advise everybody to kind of have like just have a glance at the previously asked questions of that company. If you are interviewing for Amazon, so I would just recommend you that yeah, please try to you can say that go ahead and get a grasp of the previously asked interviews, right? So that is where like these things are important. Okay, and people are aware and people are already working on top of it. People have already completed 500, 600 questions, right? They are practicing like anything. So you also need to be kind of in that flow, right? And once you have kind of achieved some level of preparedness, I would also advise you that you need to start giving mock interviews as well. Mock interviews is kind of a very very good way to assess yourself, that where you are currently standing, what is your preparation level, what are the requirements that you need to kind of have to crack the real interviews. And there would be mentors like who are already working in that company. Let's say that if you are aspiring to go to Microsoft, so there will be an interviewer from Microsoft only who will be taking your mock interview, right? So that is where you will get a look and feel of the real interview before attending the real interview, right? That is where it becomes ultimately necessary that you need to kind of have mock interviews. So this coding ninjas bootcamp will be also kind of giving you that opportunity, that yeah, there will be kind of mock interviews facilities would be also provided, right? More information will be shared by the team. Apart from that, if we talk about SD2 and SD3, just give me 1 minute. So apart from that, if we talk about SD2s and SD3, so there are a couple of things that we need to say. So for round one is the common, and for round two and round three, what is happening is, uh, so round two would be your data structure and algorithm kind of round, and round three would be your low level design round. Okay, and round four will be your HLD round, high level design round. Okay, so low level design round would be a round where you need to kind of be very confident about your low level design skills. Basically questions related to let's say that your low level design, let's say that designing a website or designing a service or designing you let's say that application would be asked. Example questions would be, let's say that design a booking service, cab booking service like Uber, right? Design a application like Book My Show. Now Book My Show is a pretty common application, but there would be some constraints that you need to follow. The constraints would be special to every problem. Okay, so there are some constraints. I remember that when I was attending let's say that the last interview that I gave was for Uber, right? I got selected in that as well. But the thing is that the constraint was that at a time you can two people can book the same seat, but whoever comes first will be allocated that seat. So in a Book My Show, there is a like you have a facility that there is kind of you can only one person can only book one seat, right? But in this special type of Book My Show, two people can book the seat. But the thing is that whoever comes first, right, he will be allocated the seat, and the second one will be will kind of get the money, but he will be there will be some deduction from that money. So you need to compute everything. So in that kind of in that system, you need to be aware about multi-threading, how two processes would be staying in that place, and what will you do, how will you compute, right? So these skills are, how do I know these skills? I have gained these skills. I have gained these skills because like I am aware that yeah. So what are these kind of questions that are asked? Right. I have prepared. I have come to a point that I can just confidently answer this. Right. But if somebody like you is kind of starting your career path, or who is kind of on the journey, who is kind of beginning their process, right? So you need to have a proper roadmap. You need to have the proper guidance. You need to have the proper mentor. You need to have the proper kind of outline structure for you, that what you need to study, because the topics are unlimited, right? You cannot solve every problem, right? So that is the thing that you need to understand here, that having the right mentor at the right time, or having the right guidance at the right time is very much necessary, right? So this is what is low level design. So low level design is also nowadays very much considered, because there was a time that data structures were given the highest priority, that who is able to solve data structure rounds, they are pretty much decent or pretty much good, right? Google also follows this by the way, you can say that the process, that all their rounds are for data structure oriented. You need to solve problems, DSA problems. Once you go for staff engineer or software L4 roles, then design also comes into picture, right? That's a separate process. Okay, we always have exceptions, right? So basically Google's process is more towards problem solving, right? But 99% of the other companies will follow this, right? So you need to prepare low level design and high level design as well. Now high level design will be coming your you can say that how you are able to communicate the design you can say that components in your design, how effectively you are able to design them, how effectively you are able to design or to help cater to the load, because the load would be you can say the load by load, what I mean is that the number of users, let's say that the number of users are 1 billion, right? So how would the system cater to that, right? So this is where your high level design knowledge would come into picture. Okay, coming to front end. So front end is also the similar. So you will be given kind of like a problem to solve, right? And this would be kind of a similar design problem, but it would be front end specific. So I remember that I had asked when I was taking an interview for Microsoft, so I had asked that you need to design the scoreboard, right? There is a scoreboard in cricket, which we have. I'll just show you. I'll just take a moment to show that what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the scoreboard that is there. So you need to kind of design this. Okay, so what I want to say is that when the kind of score is active, there is a button that is going here and there that says that the innings is kind of taking place and the runs are getting added to both of these, right? So you need to design this in a live environment, when that match is getting played. How will you design this system, right? That is in either in React, either in Vue, either in normal JavaScript. How would you design this system? Okay, these kind of questions, open-ended questions, would be only asked and nothing else, right? So you need to be very very much confident on your skills, because when we talk about front end, so front end problems are kind of, it's more difficult to solve than the normal back end related problems, because it's very realistic. Anything can be asked, right? Anything that you need to design, it can be asked. Okay, then after this there would be a engineering manager round as well. Okay, so every like team would be having its manager or the engineering manager, who would have certain expectations. These expectations would be from the role, and as well as from the company stand of points. This is called as the cultural fitment also, right? As a role also, let's say that if you are hired on a SD1 role, so there would be some different expectations, rather than from a person who is a SD2 or a SD3, right? Or a senior software engineer. Okay, so there are different expectations pertaining to role, and the company's expectations are different, right? Are you able to meet both of them? That is the question. That is what the engineering manager is looking forward to, right? So I remember that I had witnessed one thing, that when I was kind of like attending these engineering manager interviews. So the thing is that with engineering managers, you cannot directly predict what is going to happen, either with engineering managers or with senior engineering managers, because every answer that you will give will be kind of, it varies from companies to companies. Some company it would be very positive, some company some people would take it in a negative manner as well. Okay, so the best way to answer these like questions is that you have to answer this in a star format. Okay, situation, assertiveness, and this is a principle that you need to follow, right? So basically what I want to say is that you don't need to be negative in your answers. Okay, in either in problem solving or in your kind of in your basic outline, what you are doing and how you are solving the problems and what is your daily task. You need to be very kind of in a neutral manner. You have to kind of answer every question that is asked, right? Because he is kind of the decision maker, and he will be your manager only when you will be coming in the company, right? So you have to have a very neutral and a good relationship with the manager, right? So that is where that you have to have a proper guidance, how to answer these questions, how to kind of tackle these questions, what are the different questions that can be asked, right? So this process will be kind of very easily provided to you, right? If you have structured learning and if you have proper guidance, right? So this is the thing, and engineering managers are there. I remember that like in some companies they are also having like a bar raiser round. Okay, Microsoft also has it. Bar raiser has a different word. So bar raiser round is nothing but it's another round on top of engineering manager round, which is taken by a senior engineering manager or a senior person. Either it can be a senior software engineer, a technical architect, or in Oracle it is called as the bartender round. Okay, leave it. And in you can say that in Microsoft, I just forgot the name. It was called as a it's kind of a bar raiser only. Okay, or the AA round. Yeah, the AA round. it's called as the AA round. I don't know the abbreviation, what does it mean, but it's called as the AA round. So what happens in this round is that you can be asked anything, either from problem solving or low level design or HLD. Basically, this round is for like, let's say that for SD2 majorly, for SD2 SD3 is majorly, this round is very much compulsory, right? This is kind of a round to, because like this round will differentiate the candidate that will get selected from the rest of the candidate, right? So this round is very much important, and this round is kind of into two times. That is kind of it counts, right? In Google, it goes by the name of googliness, right? But in Google it's very different. You will be only asked about the non-technical part. You will be asked about your previous projects. You will be asked about your variety of things that is not related to your, it's on majorly behavior round in googliness. But in other companies, either it can be behavioral, either it can be technical, either it can be a normal interview, either it can be only a discussion. I remember that I was given an interview with Adobe, and there was kind of a bar raiser round that was there with a senior director, and he asked me a mathematical question, right? So it can be anything, right? It was a probability based question. Either you there, it can be anything. It depends on the mood of the interviewer. Okay, and this is very much important and a very distinguishing round as well. If you are not able to clear this round, then it will be a very uh, your selection chances will get kind of hampered. That is the reality, right? So yeah, in a nutshell, these are the rounds that are generally taken, right? And so there are also some questions that you might be having, you people would be having. Okay, so now it's the time for question and answer, right? Q&A session. So before we begin, I would like to remind you about the job bootcamp, right? For like those who have missed it or joined late, right? So full stack web development job bootcamp is a 9-month program that is designed by coding ninjas, and that offers a comprehensive training, interview preparation, and placement assistance, right? Until you secure your first job. That is the thing, that you have to secure the first job and all those things. And if you want to know more, I will share a form here as well. There is a kind of form also that is shared, so you can just have a look in the form. Not this, just have a look that what are the kind of uh, what is the thing that you will be provided, and the team would be contacting you, right? If you want to know more, fill out the form that is in the chat box, and through this form like you will be contacted by the team, right? I mean, to tell me, guys, do you have a clear plan to stand out in today's job like competitive job market that is there, right? So from my experience, the fastest way to transition into a new career is with the right guidance, hands-on practice, and a structured roadmap, which is the Coding Ninjas Job Bootcamp, right? So why not explore? If you are done filling out the form, you can move ahead and you can start posting your questions that you have for me, right? So now you can just take a moment to just fill out the form. Not this form, this is the form. Okay, take a moment to just fill out the form, right? And then I will be kind of love to answer your questions that are there. So if you have some questions, then I would be love to then I'll just love to answer them. So you can ask these questions in the chat or in the Q&A section. So how you can apply for companies like Microsoft or Google through their career pages? To be honest, like I had applied through the career pages only, but I was getting rejections. So what you can do is like you can take referrals, and you can. What used to do was I contacted the engineering managers, right? And the what happens is that like HR will post the requirements, and they will generally post it on either the social media platforms like LinkedIn or other platforms. So once you share your profile, so one round of rejection would be kind of with the HR. So HR would be firstly rejecting your resume there. The second rejection would be happening in the engineering manager's round. Engineering manager would be screening in or out the resume. Why? Because HR would be receiving 1000 or more than that resumes, right? And engineering manager would only call, let's say, 10 or 15 people maximum. That is what I'm talking about. 5 to 6 people I have seen, right? But 10 people for an interview. Out of that, if you are lucky, so you will be interviewed. But the thing is that what I used to do was like I just used to contact the engineering managers directly. And fortunately there were many of my like peers who were already working in that company, so they kind of internally referred me as well. So referral is the best way, right? Either referral or you can just approach the engineering managers. So majority of the interviews I got via this, that I used to approach the engineering managers, and then I used to kind of they I used to get shortlisted for the interviews. But if you just apply to the career page, there's a very rare chance that you will be called. I remember that out of blue I was just contacted for some companies like Walmart or like other companies. I just had applied to their career pages. But yeah, majorly it's like referral. Majorly it's like referral that you can just see. Lavanya is saying that I have Java knowledge but not frameworks. I kept Java and frameworks in the resume. So no, that is not a problem, Lavanya. So the thing is that if you study the frameworks like Spring framework, or let's say that other frameworks as well, in let's say that in let's say 15 days or 1 month, it's more than enough. If you have kept it but you are not aware about it, then that's not a problem. You can just still like study the same, and I would and just study that what are asked in the interviews. Just study the frequently asked questions as well. Just study that what are the questions that are getting repeated from that framework area in multiple interviews, and then you just prepare accordingly, right? So that is where like I would just advise you. Work pressure in MS is not so much, Divakar. Okay, it's very chill company. Okay, big tech companies are majorly chill. You will say that 9 to 5 is just on paper. 4 to 5 hours is maximum that you will get to work. Apart from that, yeah, there are some times where there it would be getting exceeded, right? But majority it would be a very decent life that you can just live. So yeah. What to choose between web dev and web3? Victor, Paul, it depends on your it depends on basically your area of interest. If you are majorly aware about or sorry, interested about the blockchain environment, or very much interested in the different protocols, or are very much interested in these environments, so yeah, I would definitely recommend, yeah, go for that. Go explore around that, and just like there are very good opportunities actually in web3. I know that one of my friends only who was from our batch. He is now the CIO, Chief Information Officer, or like yeah, Chief Information Officer of Polygon. And I have invested a lot of money in that Polygon Matic. So yeah, so he's also 5 years of experience, and he's like the Information Officer. So that is very good position to be in, being a 5 year experienced guy, right? So this is the thing. This is kind of you. It totally depends on you, right? So how to contact engineering manager? This would be basically from LinkedIn. So you can just get the contact from LinkedIn as well. Okay. So as I can see, there is a lot of questions around Coding Ninjas, Job Bootcamp, and how it can be helpful. I would like to call out the program expert from like the Coding Ninjas team, and they are going to take 10 more minutes of yours and are going to explain how this boot camp will be helpful in your career transition. So I guess like Karan is with us.
Yeah, hi. So, first of all, like, thank you so much, Pranav, for such an informative session. And guys, now as we are getting a lot more questions around the job boot camp, what exactly are we covering in this boot